by both nations.
Look at the smiles we both got.
Yeah, let's tell the audience why. So prior to the game, we had to do a parlay for the match result and for a goal scorer or assister in the game, and we both nailed ours. We both called the draw. I called a Crescencio Somerville goal or assist, and you went for Virgil van Dijk goal or assist. We will get to that later on in the show and show where we are in the table here at Golazo Matchday. But in terms of the game, what did you like about how Japan responded twice? They trailed twice in the game. They got a goal from a set piece where I thought was a surprise. It looked like because of the height that the Netherlands had in the team, there's going to be no way that Japan was going to get something from a set piece, but they did.
Yeah, let me start off with Netherlands started off fantastic. They pushed out, they attacked, they were aggressive, everything you want. They get the lead, and then you got to give it credit. I mean, and it's weird to me, and I don't get it. When you score a goal in the World Cup, the first thing you do is you change your tactics a little bit, and they dropped off. They let Japan come a little bit more. They get scored on. They score again. So listen, defensively, not great, especially when Van Dijk gets beat in the air off a corner kick. There's not one player on the Japanese side who is anywhere near his height. So I think lack of concentration at times from the Dutch. So at the end of the day, listen, great result for Japan. I think it's a great result for Holland too, but it just not. And maybe in order to keep progressing, you've got to play and build and move the lane. So I'll say both of these didn't have a great game. It was a good game, but they both didn't play great. But they got the result they needed to move on to the next game.
I think both teams will be happy with the result. You know, when you look at the group overall, I think that there will be that belief or that arrogance that Japan and Netherlands are the best two in this group, which I feel is a risky observation to have. So overall, how this game played out, you could say a draw would be fair enough result. They'll feel confident they can get results against the other two teams in this group. But I would say for me, for the Netherlands, you'd be a bit worried because there's always that expectation. There's always that weight when you wear the shirt, how far they can go and how they manage this game to go 1-0 up, 2-1 up and not be able to see out the game. That is a bit of a worry and a concern.
When they put the foot on the gas,
yes,
they were good.
They should. And for me, I give credit to Japan, though.
Yeah.
Because for me, I wouldn't say I've seen anything different from Japan. Japan has always had that mentality of, regardless how the game is going, they play to win. They're going to continue to press, they're going to continue to play forward, and they're going to try and win this game of football match. That is something that's become the identity and the mentality of the Japanese national side. So for me, nothing new that I learned from there. But like you said, Marcelo, the negativity from the Netherlands' point of view is, you go 1-0 up and you do sit back. You do become hesitant a bit, which for me isn't the right mentality and the mindset. From going 1-0 up, you need to get that second. You need to build on that confidence and that momentum and try and get another goal. But quality to Japan for coming back into it.
And this was a really good game in terms of the quality of goal as well. We saw that opener, the header from Van Dijk is from a very difficult angle, comes in off the post. The opening strike for the first Japan goal from Keito Nakamura, who I thought had a very good game coming off that left side. It's kind of those moments where it seems like it's gone. He finds it in the bottom corner, well placed to get Japan the goal. Then Somerville also with a kiss off the inside of the post, and then that header at the end. Which was the best of the lot for you guys?
I'm going to go with the defender just because it's off a header, and I love the view. He ducks down and he's watching it go in. Yeah. It's always tough. You don't get that many opportunities as center back. So when you get up there, I mean, don't get me wrong, Somerville's fantastic, but when you're a center back and you get up there, you want to be able to help your team, not just always defend. So the fact that he was able to help his team out, give him that initial lead, and help me with my bet, I think it was fantastic.
I'm going to go with Somerville's finish. I think it was an absolute brilliant finish. And the reason I'll go with him is he's had a great season for West Ham. Yep. And now you're talking about international level now, doing it in the World Cup. That, for me, was just a world-class finish. He comes inside, off his left foot, bends into that far corner. And what it goes to show as well, his celebration with the Dutch legend in Van Nistelrooy just lets you know. You're talking about one great legends we've seen and talked about. He goes and celebrate, top class, passing on to the next generation, helping this young generation understand about the finishing qualities, the attributes you need. And it's great to see that finish there, doing it at the highest level, not just domestically for his club, West Ham United.
Yeah, and for the Netherlands, I guess one of the things you sort of try and look at is this is sort of a very high-quality matchup between two teams that we expect to make a reasonable run at this tournament. As you mentioned, they would probably think that they can do okay against the other two teams in the group, Sweden and Tunisia. What did you see in terms of, this is about, let's say, a preview of what it will look like for them in the last 16 or even a quarterfinal for the Netherlands or for Japan. what did you see from them in terms of the level that they can hit? Is it good enough in your mind to make a deeper run in the tournament for both teams, really?
I think for me, Japan, yes. I still believe that Japan have that ability and the mindset, the attitude, how they run, the energy that they show. I think the only thing I would say about Japan for me is I do want them to be a bit more brave. I do want them to have that bit more confidence and belief in themselves from the start, that they can go in there. I think sometimes they kind of play within themselves and wait to maybe go a goal down to start really showing what they're capable of. They have it, the technical ability, the organisation off the ball, the willingness to run, the interchange of play, but it needs to be a bit more arrogant, I believe, from the Japanese perspective. From the Netherlands perspective, again, I think it's the fact of taking the lead in this game and not being able to see out games. That's what they need to do, not conceding poor goals. We talk about the back four, how when you look at the names on paper, could be one of the best back fours in this World Cup. But again, in the goals that they conceded today, that is not good enough. It needs to be better for me defensively.
Yeah, for me, when I look at this, I'm like, okay, this is what they've done the last 6 games and they haven't lost. Japan. So why am I going to change? I think they're more comfortable almost playing from behind because they kept on coming back, but you can't do that against, let's just be honest, a Spain or Brazil. So everything I like about them is the fact that they're disciplined, their mentality. If things go wrong, they don't panic. I think when you see a lot of teams go down with nothing, they panic, they get disorganized. That didn't happen in Japan today. Japan was very organized. They were very, very well in sync. They knew what they were doing. They just stuck to the game plan. On the other side, Netherlands, too slow. You know, I mean, the second half was better, but if you're going to play a first half like that against a good team, a Belgium or a Germany, it's going to make it much tougher to get back in. So if they come out the way they did the second half and get 80 minutes out of that group or 70 minutes out of that group, then they have a chance.
Yeah, it was a really high level, I thought, after halftime. I will say, and this is sort of one of those things that we're going to keep tracking the progress of over the course of the tournament. We did eventually see the Japan equalizer, but I thought the game had incredible flow in the first 20 to 22 minutes of the second half, and then the hydration break happens. It's completely needless in a stadium that has a roof over it, and I know that this is something that we're going to have to get used to because it's going to happen in 104 games this World Cup, but I have to be honest, it's ridiculous when it happens. It's ridiculous when we're in a dome and it's a perfect climate-controlled environment, and we're stopping the game, a brilliant game of football. And that was the first time that I really felt that it got in the way of a really good match. That normally you expect it's just going to keep going and that energy level. And it dipped really for the first 15 minutes coming out of the break, and then Japan gets the equalizer to get it back going again. But it just feels wrong. It feels wrong for a game to be interrupted like that.
From an ex-player's perspective, I think Marcelo and I are in the same agreement of this. When you talk about players being on the pitch, and we talk about football, we always talk about football intelligence and feeling the game, momentums. In this aspect here, you're 100% right. Because when you're a team and you feel the momentum and you know your opponents are really starting to struggle and you could feel it as a player, you're going to score, they're going to crack soon. And then all of a sudden to have a break where they can regroup, recatch their composure, regain some kind of composure and organisation, you can never just get that momentum back again in favour of you. So I think I'm in agreement where I'm not a fan of these water breaks. Let's be real. It's not for the welfare of the players. It's nothing to do with the welfare of the players. It's about advertising and making money. And it's sad because it does take away from how a game flows. We've seen teams use it for tactical advantages. Yesterday, Australia, to get their first goal. I think that the game needs to flow and be like football for 45 minutes, because if it was for the welfare of the players, there'll be other things being done as well, not just these water breaks. So for me, I completely agree with you. I don't like these water breaks because they kill the momentum of the football matches that we're seeing. And just from an ex-player's perspective, we know what it's like when you're in that mode, when you're fighting for your life and trying not to concede a goal, or when you've got a team under so much pressure that you know you're going to get a goal and a water break happens.
I'm a purist, okay? As a kid, you played 30 minutes, you played a rhythm. You had some sort of, you're in sync. When you get to a point where you don't need a hydration break, why are we breaking up the game into 4 quarters? That's where I have a hard time. I grew up playing this game, and I'm not aging myself because even to last World Cup, we didn't have hydration breaks. So this game's about rhythm. It's about having to find a way to get through 45 minutes. It's finding a way to figure the tactics out on the field, not always with the coach. As a team and as a player, you're trying to adjust, you're trying to move. So now we cut it. We give you 22 minutes. We'll give you 3 minutes. Go get some water. We saw the other day Pochettino, the computer, pointing to people. We saw last night Australia, telling the player, do this, do this. There came a goal. Great. But that's not what we're here for. We talk about purists. We talk about rhythm of our game. We're taking away the purity of what we love to watch for 45 minutes, and that's why I have a hard time. As an ex-athlete, it's very frustrating to see a game stop, and now everybody's relaxing, everybody's getting a drink of water, and it's like, it's hard to restart after 3 minutes. It's like running a marathon. You're done. You're not going to go run again because you're done. At that point, it's going to take you, what do we see today, 5-10 minutes to get back into it. By that time, you're almost at halftime.
Well, the perfect example is where it's half-time. When you have a half-time, you always see teams generally will concede in that first 10, 15-minute block of half-time because, again, the momentum's lost, you rest.
You know what comes next? A 10-minute halftime now instead of a 15-minute halftime. But I'm saying, but that's what we're pushing towards. Yeah. Listen, the game's, through history, has been 45 minutes. Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, and you guys are speaking from sort of a ex-player perspective. I'll speak from a fan perspective because watching that game, that's sort of the moment when you reach the edge of your seat, when you reach, okay, here we go, it's kicked off. Finally, we got through a 45 minutes that was a bit dreary, if I'm being honest. Japan didn't have a shot on target in the first half. Finally, the game has opened up. We've gotten into a good place, and now there's a commercial break. And it just feels like it takes a while, watching from a fan's point of view, for the tempo to regain. The tempo almost never really came back in the game. So it's almost impossible to recreate that sort of magic. That magic is going to get lost if it happens after halftime.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, take our word for it from a player's perspective. We know what it's like. We know what it's like to be on that pitch in that moment, knowing that one of your players has the better of a defender. You could just feel it, and all of a sudden you got to stop. It's not a switch you can just switch back on again. For everyone to be in that moment, in that euphoria, everything working in your favour.
Now, in terms of the match, getting back to the actual game, who were some of the players that stood out in your mind for either side in terms of individual performances?
I felt for me, Somerville took his goal very well. Gravenberch, I thought, had a good game. We talked about the midfield and how Gravenberch didn't have a great season when it came to domestically for Liverpool and going into a World Cup, how he would be. I thought he put in a great midfield performance today for me. From Japan's perspective, I
think collectively.
Nakamura was fantastic at wing-back.
Yeah, I felt collectively as a team that they just played so well. Again, we talked about them missing the likes of Matoma, Endo
Minamino
as well, having to pull out of the squad, and people worried, they're best players or top players. I said, no, you got to look at Japan beyond the individual player. They're collectively as a team so well drilled, so well organised, and it was a team performance for them today.
Yeah, I looked at more of not individual, but team. I thought Japan was fantastic. I mean, mentality, everything. You can say, did one player really stand out and say, no? Because when they defended, it was 11. It was complete. When they attacked, they pushed the line. We're sitting here screaming for them to attack, and they moved the lines up nice and easy. On the other side, it's tough because Somerville had a good game. He scores the goal. I thought De Jong was well. I thought he held the middle. Didn't really have to do a lot, but he held the middle. And I think that was important to not to get beat down the middle, force them around you. But overall, I'd have to say just maybe Somerville was the only one that really stood out to me. Everybody else was okay.
Hey, Gravenberch, see, the defender. He does want to give Gravenberch some love. What, 2 assists today?
You give up 2 goals, though.
Gravenberch, 2 assists as a midfielder there.
Pretty good.
He had a good game.
You're giving up 2 assists for 2 goals. That's not okay with me.
Yeah.
Well, if the defenders could defend, then you know what I mean.
Virgil van Dijk can win his defensive header.
Defenders could defend.
He didn't, because that's how they got scored on.
Right.
He didn't. So that's why I'm saying it was. He was okay.
Yeah,
he was okay.
There were some pretty solid performances. Let's take a look at a few from a Japanese standpoint and some of the individuals there. And I guess we can start with Take Kubo, who was pretty solid in the game in terms of his ability to get into good, promising positions, played the 75 minutes, had the one key pass as well. It really was his distribution that was solid in the match.
Yeah, Kubo plays at Real Sociedad, really good player. I thought he had a decent game. If I'm honest, I thought I'd expect a lot more from him, in my opinion, because I've seen him play. And I think that he should have done probably a lot more. I would say for me, he wouldn't have been the player that I went to I think the player that I would have gone to is Nakamura for me.
Well, then here he is.
Japan.
Let's show his numbers, because Nakamura had a really good game, and you can see based off the heat map, he's not going anywhere else other than that left side. Got up and down really well as a wing back. That is the job that you're asked to do, and he did it pretty well.
No, but that's okay. That's his job. His job is to be dangerous down the right side or down the left side. But I love the fact that he can cut in to his right foot, play it in. You know, goal, 3 shots. I mean, when you can impact a game with a goal, and you can impact a game with your positioning, you can see he runs the left side. If you want to put him down the right, he can go down the right. But I thought he was one of the better players. But again, very hard to take one player in that group because they're all so mentally into what the coach wants.
And I must say, we didn't even get to mention Suzuki, the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He pulled out some really big saves.
In the first half in particular was huge.
Massive as well in the second half. Pulled out a good save against Hakpo as well in that near post when he thought he was going to sneak in. He had a solid game as a young goalkeeper.
Yeah, I think he's one that will definitely be getting a shout for those bigger moves, perhaps from Parma, who are starting to produce a fair few players. Now, coming up next, we're going to be talking even more about this match with the Dutch legend, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink. That's next on the Golazo Network.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon? When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready? Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated. If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad in my camp.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
Brilliant game at the World Cup between the Netherlands and Japan. It finishes 2-2, the goals from Van Dijk and Somerville for the Netherlands, and for Japan it was Nakamura and Daichi Kamada with the 88th minute equalizer. Welcome you back into our studio here at the Golazo Network. Managerial Coker, Marcelo Balboa, and let's bring in Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink, the Dutch legend, to get his thoughts on this one. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink, what did you think of the game?
Well, look, we always knew that it was going to be a very difficult game. Japan, very good side. The Dutch, They are not playing their best football at the moment, but they did very well for 70 minutes, really well. You know, they controlled the game. First half, they had a better of the game. They end up scoring 1-0 by a really good goal. Second phase of a corner with Van Dijk. And then you think, go on, push on. You know, Japan comes back, makes a 1-1 really quickly, what is a little bit disappointing. And then Summerfield, who I really like, and it's a really great story for Summerfield, great moment, and he scores a really, really good goal. And then you think again, go on, but Koeman thinks differently and makes 3 substitutions, and I think those 3 substitutions were a little bit too early, and then you're on the back foot, and then it feels a little bit, you have a mixed feeling actually at the 2-2, because it was quite close there to take all the 3 points. So I think it's an opportunity missed.
Jimmy, you're a player that knows what it's like to wear that national shirt and the pressure that comes with it. Put your manager's hat on. What is the most positive thing that you see from this Dutch national side? And what is the one thing that worries you from a manager or coach's perspective?
What I really like is the first 70 minutes. The Dutch had control. They were patient. It was really difficult to break the low block down. But they scored a really good goal with Summerfield. So that was good, and they controlled also the counter-attack against. So I really like that. I didn't like when the Dutch went up front when they scored 1-0. It felt like they were afraid to keep on going, to keep that same kind of tactic going forward. You know, they played backwards, and that was quite disappointing. I also didn't like when they were 5 at the back, that still there were gaps, you know. So defensively, you have to do better as a unit. And now the next step is, can you play longer than 70 minutes in that concept that well? You know, that's going to be the next challenge.
Jimmy, totally agree with you. We felt the same way as well watching that game, that they took a negative approach after taking the lead. Another thing that was quite surprising was the fact of Marlin starting up top. And obviously you being a striker and a legend that you are, what do you think about Brommy? Don't you think that it could have been a better option to start with him with his physical aspects that he has?
I thought Marlon did really well. I actually like him. He's in form. I would have started with Marlon as well. He created an opportunity for himself in the first 5 minutes, and had a great shot. It was a great save by the goalkeeper. He looked sharp. I wouldn't have taken him off yet. I would have left him on for a little bit longer, because the moment Holland scored 2-1, Japan were getting a little bit more desperate, and that is where you were getting more space. And then he is very dangerous when he has space behind the defense. But it wasn't he wasn't allowed to have that opportunity. I liked him. I think he played well. My thing with Brobbey is he should have come in when Depay came in, because Depay didn't offer anything. He didn't offer any depth in the game, and he also didn't hold the ball. And that, in a way, that was a little bit of a big problem for the Netherlands.
Jimmy, let me ask you this really quick. Why do you think after a team scores a goal, we've seen this a lot in this World Cup, they're pushing, they're pressing, they get the goal, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, we drop off, now we got the goal, the intensity drops, they just keep in possession. Why are we seeing that a lot in this World Cup, do you think?
It's a mental thing. It has nothing to do with ability. It is a mental kind of kind of thing that where you score a goal. It's proven as well when you score a goal, then the next 5 minutes are the most important for not receiving a goal back or getting a goal back. But yes, that is just confidence and mentality. You know, I was screaming at the television, keep on going, keep on putting pressure, because then you will kill the game off. But it is you see that a lot with teams that have got a lot of pressure on them. When they have scored that 1-0, it's a relief, and they think the job is done. And instead of defending forward, they defend backwards, and that's what the Netherlands did today, unfortunately.
Jimmy, what's the expectations of this Netherlands side from what we've seen today? What would be acceptable for their World Cup?
The Dutch won't like it, what happened today, because if they would have played 0-0, they would have said, okay, fine. But because they were winning and because they were so negative, so far from the last whistle, Koeman will get, I think, quite a bit of stick. They know that they don't have the best forward players at the moment, so they are a little bit. The expectation is quarterfinal, basically. But then still, they wouldn't like how things went today after the 2-1. But then positively, they got a draw. And everybody knew in the Netherlands that it was a difficult game today. It's mixed feelings. It's mixed feelings today, you know, because you were this close of getting the 3 points. You don't get the 3 points. It feels a little bit like lost, 2 points lost. And it will be how will they cope with that disappointment. But before this game, it was quarterfinals that they were thinking, and everything after is a big plus.
Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink with his thoughts on the Netherlands drawing 2-2 with Japan in their opener at the World Cup. The Netherlands, by the way, still unbeaten in World Cup openers. They've never lost the opening game of the World Cup before with a 2-2 draw. Jimmy Floyd, thank you so much for the time.
Thank you, legend.
Thank you, my man. Have a good one. Good speaking to you.
Likewise.
That is Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink with his thoughts on the Netherlands draw against Japan. And we'll have much more coverage of this World Cup on the way. Stay with us on the Golazo Network.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days, with the entire nation hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion!
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
I look crazy. It's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. But they're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Tell me, can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad will want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
We've talked plenty about the Netherlands and Japan 2-2 draw. Moving ahead to the third game of the evening from the Link in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia Stadium. It is Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, taking on Ecuador. What is a really interesting game in Group E. Of course, with Germany winning earlier today by 7-1. There'll be some pressure on both of these sides to get a victory if they're to try and be top of the group. When we look at this in the overall, this is probably the matchup between two teams I guess we would consider most evenly rated within this group. What do you guys think of this match between Ecuador and Ivory Coast?
I think it's going to be a great game. I'm really excited about it. You talk about two of the youngest teams in this competition right now. I've been a big fan of Ecuador and what they're doing and how they've assembled so many top talented players of a young age and gaining more experience in the more World Cups that they play in. And this is a very talented side. My one critique or criticism or worry is the striker. I think they're missing the striker. When you talk about back four, midfield, I think Ecuador is very well stacked. You talk about Ivory Coast now, it's a new generation. It's the next generation of young players coming through now. One player in particular, Diamonde from Leipzig, right now, causing a lot of attention from big clubs in Europe, a real star coming through, and they've still got the experience of a Pepe, who was at Arsenal, and now Villarreal. So for me, it's going to be a very interesting match. And I think also what adds spice to it is the result that Germany got today. That puts these two teams under a lot of pressure now, where it's going to feel like they're going to the second match pressure where it becomes a must-win. But this is their first game that turns into that must-win now with the result that Germany had against Curaçao.
Must win, must not loss. Right?
Must not lost.
That's what let's be honest.
It's sort of a fascinating dynamic because do you almost look at Germany and go, oh, they have that +6 goal differential. They might go on to win the group. I think if these two teams decide before the game, let's have a draw. We'll both beat Curaçao and we'll both get through to the next round. Like, of course, you're not going to do that, but do you almost play more conservatively? Because if you get the point and you beat Curaçao, you're through to the next round.
Yeah, but I think every game we've seen in this World Cup, the first 10, 15 minutes are quite interesting, trying to settle into a game, and then you finally get your rhythm. But when you look at a team like Ecuador, you're looking at guys that are playing at Pumas, Arsenal, PSG, Huracan in Argentina, Chelsea, Pachuca. They've got quality players. They play good soccer. They came in second in Common Bowl. This is a team that can play. This is a team that's scaring people in South America. After Argentina's done with Messi, now you've got to figure out who's that top dog. We've seen Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia. These are teams that are up and coming, and they're gonna be one of those dark horses that are gonna surprise some people. On the other side, Ivory Coast. I love Ivory Coast because I scored a goal against them when I played. It's one of those like yes, but young, dynamic. Ability to get into the transition really quick. They scare me. They scare me the way they are playing.
They are still one of the poster boys of the continent of African football. That's what it is. And just to add to what you both are saying.
Cello's fine.
Cello's saying there is for me is what it is. Both these teams, I think you'll be in agreement with me. Both these teams will believe that they can beat Germany.
Yes.
This isn't that they'll sit back and think that this is a Germany of old and Germany are going to be the one that top the group.
Yeah.
Both these teams are going to be confident enough to feel that they can beat Germany and want to finish top of this group. That's what makes it even more spicy.
Listen, when you can win the group, you give yourself an easier run, right? The stars align a little better. If you've seen all of the groups, if you can win that group, you end up playing a third place team more than likely, or a lower second team. So I think when you look at this, I think everybody's beatable right now. I haven't seen one team yet, because we haven't seen everybody, but I haven't seen one team that's like, okay, maybe that team scares me right now because they're not informed, but we haven't seen Spain. We haven't seen a few other teams.
I mean, you could say USA if you want to, Marcelo.
I'm not going to say USA. You know why? Because in a World Cup, you've got to go here and you got to build. U.S. is already up here. Now can they level off? Can they have the same performance, the same energy, the same mentality in the next game against Australia? That's going to be the key.
Yeah, after Australia won last night as well. We showed you there in terms of the Ivory Coast. They are a team that have always had a lot of talent. They've been drawn in their previous golden generation into groups of death. They have never advanced out of the group at the World Cup. They'll be hoping to do so at this one. They've not made the World Cup since 2014, so it is very good to see them again. In the build-up to this one, despite the fact that the Ivory Coast have not made it since 2014, the manager with some big words, some big expectations for this one. Let's read here something that he had to say in the build-up to this tournament. The manager for the Ivory Coast, Emers Faye, was talking about this sort of idea of going on to win the thing. He said, I'm not going to the United States for a holiday. I'm a competitor, and my objective is to go as far as possible. Why not win it? But the fixed objective is to play at least 6 games, which is the quarterfinal. Again, this is a team that's never made it out of the group, that actually only made it as far as the quarterfinal at the Africa Cup of Nations most recently played, and yet here he is talking about going deep in this tournament. What do you make of a coach setting the stall out for the team in terms of, we have high expectations, you have lower expectations for us? I don't care. I want you guys to believe and think you can go even farther and potentially go on to even a final. Is that putting too much pressure on the players in your mind?
No, I love it. What is wrong with ambition? I have no problem with being ambitious. I mean, I played a game of football. We both played a game of football. We had to be ambitious. You wanted to make it as a professional. Then after you make it as a professional, you want to play for the big clubs. You want to see how far you can go. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being ambitious. And I love the fact that a manager's having that responsibility and willing to put that pressure on their players. It's your job as a manager to motivate those players. It's your job as a manager to get these players to believe that they can achieve great things like that. So I am all for it. I think it's great. And you want to go as far as you can go. There's no point in coming in there just to be a participant in a World Cup. Doesn't make no sense.
I think there's a handful of teams that walk in here thinking they can win it. And there's other teams that go, oh, if we get out of the group, we're happy. Remember Costa Rica? What happened in South Africa? Okay.
Yeah.
So I think
Morocco last time around.
No one put Morocco in a semifinal. Did you guys?
No.
Nobody did.
Croatia, 2018.
I'm waiting for the day that an African team reaches the final because it's coming. They are. I mean, watching Morocco play today was fun. I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to watch Brazil play. I left my TV and I went and got some food and I thought, damn, I came to watch Morocco, not Brazil anymore. So I think Ivory Coast is close. I think they could get there. But right now, I mean, I'm waiting for that day where an African team comes in and takes us.
Well, you talk about it, you say Ivory Coast, Senegal, and Morocco.
Yep.
They are the 3 real juggernauts of African football right now. They're the ones leading the flag for the continent of Africa when it comes to football. Don't get me wrong, I know obviously Ghana's in it, but Ghana are not at the same level as those other 3 teams right now and how they're performing and how they're going about it.
Nigeria could be, Cameroon could be, but they're not here. So we'll see what Ivory Coast can deliver. Let's talk a bit about Ecuador then. There's been so much talk about their defensive record in qualifying. And I think you look at this game, we'll get to this later, the over-under for this game in terms of goals scored is 1.5, which is extraordinary for a football match. They, of course, make it for the second time round. They've gotten as far as the round of 16 previously, and they finished second in qualifying. And it's largely in part because they played 18 matches and they only gave up 5 goals in those matches. Celo, I'll come to you on this one. I was actually watching some reaction from Paraguayan TV. I was scrolling on social media, and the pundit was saying, you know, we developed this impression of Paraguay because of the eliminatorias, the qualifying round. We said, well, you know, Paraguay are good defensively because in qualifying they were this good. And it turned out that qualifying was a lie and that we overemphasize what qualifying can be. This is a completely different thing, playing in South America as opposed to playing in the U.S. in a World Cup where the pitches are better and the environments are different. Do you think that what Ecuador did in qualifying is transferable to this World Cup? That we're going to see that level of defensive quality and what we saw from them in qualifying here at the World Cup?
Yeah. I think they're that good. I don't think anybody's given the credit they deserve right now. When you look at this team, you can go through every line. Caicedo's good player. Pacho, I mean, you can keep going. Plata, I mean, you can go through there. Again, not just right when you talk about Valencia's a little older, but it can still score goals. So, yeah, I think this is a team that can surprise people. I think this team that will surprise people. This is a team that's very good defensively. They move well. They drop back in. They block it in, but they hit you quickly on a counter. So, yeah, I think this team is going to surprise more people than you think.
I agree to that. I've always been a big fan, like I said early in the show, about Ecuador and what they've built and the players that they've got. And he'll know more than me that defense do win titles, win championships. But now you're in the World Cup. And I still believe in them defensively and in the midfield that they're strong. But for me, I feel that they're still lacking that real dynamism. When you talk about the top end of the pitch, that is going to come into play because there's only so long you can be defensively organised. Or we complimented Netherlands not too long ago about when you look at that back line, how amazing that back line is. They still conceded 2 goals against a Japanese side that was ambitious and stayed to it. So you have to have the attacking pitch, the attacking end wanting to be ambitious as well. And I think that is one of the plays that I would say I'll criticise this Ecuadorian team.
And one of the dynamics in this game is by average age of squads available, these are the 2 youngest teams at the tournament. Here's, courtesy of our friends at SofaScore, a look at the breakdown of the ages of the players. And you can see for Ivory Coast, there are 16 players under the age of 26 in the squad, very few over the age of 30. For Ecuador, there are only the 2. They will both start in this opening game for Ecuador, who are, of course, the goalkeeper, Hernan Galindez, and Ener Valencia, who is one of those players. Right, exactly.
When your striker is way up there.
Right, so for Ecuador, though, the development project they've had within the country has been extraordinary.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic because it's also got all these players, like Marcelo said, playing across the top leagues in Europe. Paris Saint-Germain, you talk about Club Brugge, you talk about Arsenal. That is tremendous experience. And to take that back as well, mix it with the younger players who are playing probably a lot more domestically, to give them that experience, what it's like to play in Europe, it's a great balance. I really am a big fan of this Ecuador side.
Between the European side and Liga MX, they've built a nice team. And I think when you go to Liga MX, a lot of people don't give it credit, and a lot of people don't see it. But it is a very competitive league. It's a very physical league. It's a very demanding league. So I think that when you look at this team, the mixture, the best thing to do as a coach is if you can mix that, a few veterans with these younger players, and you can mesh it together before the World Cup. And they did for qualifying. Now, can they do it for a World Cup? And I think that's more interesting to me tonight is how do they come out? Do they come out more defensive and kind of just work their way in? Or do they come out and say, hey, you know what? We're Ecuador. We came in second. Let's go.
The beautiful thing about the World Cup as well is the multinational, dual nationality aspect of it. You talk about Ivory Coast today, Doué playing right back, his brothers, the other Doué, Paris Saint-Germain, who I personally think he's already a world-class talent, and he's going to be representing France, and his brothers representing Ivory Coast. So that's the beauty of the World Cup as well, about the multinational and brothers playing for different nations. Fantastic.
Like the Williams brothers, one plays for Ghana, the other plays for Spain as well. Some really great dynamics at this World Cup. We're not far away from kickoff. All of that one between the Ivory Coast and Ecuador. We'll continue build up here on the Golazo Network.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days with the entire nation hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in 2 worlds.
There are others. They're not like us. We need to get out of here now. Open your eyes.
Paramount Plus has a mountain of movies. Wow. New movies. Timeless movies. Guys who are running out of time movies. So get in on the latest blockbusters.
Trust me.
And relive the moments that get you every time.
And that's all I have to say about that.
A mountain of movies, now streaming on Paramount Plus.
This is European soccer's biggest stage.
Written in the stars! What a difference she has made!
The question is, can you handle it?
Can you handle it?
The crowd here feels electric. Stream every match of the UEFA Women's Champions League on Paramount Plus.
I lost my dad and my aunt.
What aren't you telling me?
I'll never know what you've gone through, but I'm sure your dad would want you to be happy.
I will not lose the company that my husband started. I want success. Get it for me.
This business will bleed you dry.
Dad, I'm playing on the house's money now.
No, you're playing with the devil's money. What's the plan here?
Gonna blow!
Yeah, well, I'm just getting started.
Landman. All episodes now streaming only on Paramount Plus.
This is Golazo Match Night, getting you ready for the World Cup third match on this Sunday between the Ivory Coast and Ecuador. Let's start with the starting 11 first for Emers Faye and the Ivory Coast. And Nigel Diamande is a real standout figure here.
Yeah, keep an eye on Diamande there. Plays for Leipzig. He is the player that everyone is talking about with potential moves maybe to Liverpool. And he's got Doué behind him. That is going to be the strength of this side there. Down the right-hand side is where they'll probably be the strongest. And where up top is going to be the one who's going to be responsible for getting goals for this Ivory Coast. We've got him in the 4-4-2, but probably they'll end up switching and moving along now as the modern game happens with a 4-2-3-1. Pepe, very experienced player, was once at Arsenal, now at Villarreal. His experience is going to be vital for them. Toure in midfield, and Fofana will be the one that anchor that midfield.
And let's move then to the to Ecuador, and their lineup here is the 11 that Sebastian Becachece, will throw out for this one.
Yeah, and you see a 3-4-3, but we know it's going to be more of a defensive 5-4-1 with the transition of Franco being able to move up into the attack, though. But when you say Caicedo's in the middle, one of the better players at Chelsea, then you're also looking at guys like Vida on the outside with Pumas. But this is a group, and you still have Inter Valencia, who is still being able to, we'll say, do his job for their national team. They haven't found the replacement yet, but you got Plata, who plays at River Plate. So you really got a very defensive team that is very good on the attack.
Let's just make sure they keep Valencia and wrap him up in cotton wool, all right? That old man, he's done a hell of a job for them.
He'll be fine.
Let's not forget Paz on the bench as well for them as well.
Yes, who did get signed by Chelsea. Now, this is a derby of sorts. Now, allow us to explain the sort of diaspora communities that there are throughout the United States. This is in terms of the highest populations in terms of percentage of the city by World Cup teams. So you actually see Ecuador and Ivory Coast, in terms of a percentage of the population in these cities, make up a significant amount of the population of Newark, New Jersey. So you have a lot of Ecuadorians and you have a lot of Ivorians who are based in Newark, which is, of course, not terribly far from the stadium in which the game is being played in Philadelphia. You see, obviously, a good deal of Belgians in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Germans in Bismarck, North Dakota, Norwegians in Grand Forks, North Dakota as well, Spaniards in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and in Boca Raton, a lot of Turkish.
Okay.
Some expats.
You threw me off with Belgium at Green Bay. That went completely.
Yeah. So this is in terms of percentage of the population cities of at least 100,000, the highest percentage. Let's bring in Nico Cantor, who's going coast to coast. And Nico, that is one of the great things about this World Cup being held in the United States. There are these great expat communities throughout the country of nations, all 48 of them at this World Cup.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I didn't expect to see Qataris in the San Francisco Bay Area Stadium, and there they were walking in. They have a nice little community, so do the Swiss fans. I don't know if there are too many reasons to emigrate from Switzerland, but here they are in California living the life. And I think that's kind of like the story of this trip, finding people in different pockets of this country. Like, you can find anything. You guys know that new USL team called Athletic Boise?
Yes.
You know why it's called Athletic Boise, right? Because the biggest Basque community outside of the Basque country in Spain is in Boise, Idaho. So there are emotional links between Athletic Club of Bilbao and now I guess this new team in Boise, Idaho, out of all places. We're not going to hit Boise, Idaho, particularly on this trip, but that's just a small little detail of how big this country is and how rich the football communities are in every corner of this country.
Yeah, it's great. You make a great point, Nico, and I heard that as well before you told me about the Basque population in Idaho. So it's just a shame we couldn't send you there. Could have brought us back a potato or two.
Yeah, no, I wish, but FC Naples is going to go to Athletic Boise, so I'll be there soon enough. It'll be such an interesting trip because it's quite a particular market, and you're starting to kind of see this. The more you talk to people, there is a hunger for this sport in this country from all of these immigrant communities. And then that slowly starts to creep into the American communities, perhaps the ones that are already like third or fourth generation immigrants into this country. Because if you look back, at one point we all came from somewhere, right? Not from this country. So you see the Koreans in Los Angeles, the Mexicans in Los Angeles. That was like the most quintessential LA trip, by the way, because I got to be with both of the biggest immigrant communities in LA watching their teams win at the World Cup. And then we'll see what happens in Seattle. And what I'm starting to feel as well.
Tell me about that Korean hot dog. That's what we want to know. How was the hot dog?
That Korean glizzy. I'm trying to hot dog, by the way, Nigel. I'm trying to hot dog in every state or every venue, right, that I'm going to be in. That was the best so far. I've tried two, San Francisco Bay Area, and that one. That was awesome. So I'm starting to realize that this is what this trip is about. Seeing how each soccer community in each city has influences from all around the world that make it so unique and so quintessentially American. Because I know that every country, look, England has their football culture, Argentina has their football culture that's very, but they take a lot of ownership because it sings to them. It's very Argentine, it's very English, very Brazilian, whatever, right? But our football culture here in this country, and we talked a little bit about this with Balboa, at the U.S. Soccer House in L.A., has influences from all around the world. And that is so uniquely American, and I think that's beautiful. So we're on our way to Seattle right now to discover a little bit more.
What's beautiful is what you're doing, but what's sad is you've traveled all across America and still made no friends. It's all right, Nico. we still like you.
Nigel, says the grumpiest guy in America who talks about making friends.
I have friends.
Who talks to people. You have friends. You think you might have friends, bro. There you go. Try to hug them. Try to hug them a little bit nicer, guys. Don't feel so obligated to hug them.
Bye, Nico.
Nico, thanks so much for jumping on with us. We'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah. Bye, Chris. Bye, Marcelo.
We'll be back with more on the Golazo Network. Stay with us.
At the start of every year, I find myself wondering again, constantly questioning life's mysteries. Could I make it in the UFC octagon?
When Jeff Probst asks survivors, ready?
Do they ever want to say no? Has Dexter ever considered meditation? Will Beth and Rip make it last on the new series Dutton Ranch? If not, Rip, call me. Stream new series and returning favorites, plus huge events. It's going to be the biggest year yet.
Welcome to the Running Man. The rules are simple. Survive 30 days. But the entire nation is hunting you down.
The grand prize, $1 billion.
Win this game. Change your family's life forever.
Hunt him down!
People will sell you out in a heartbeat.
What is happening?
Welcome to the Running Man.
I'm back. I'm really back.
Why am I here? I'm not dead, right?
Disruption on this campus will not be tolerated.
If I look crazy, it's because that's how I feel. I don't know how to live in two worlds.
There are others. They're not like us.